Unleash your creativity with your micro welder, episode 14. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create this signet ring. I'm going to make a ring, an initial ring, out of wire. And I want it on this finger, size 7. I know I'm size 7 here. I have a chart that shows you how to calculate, that lists out sizes and their calculations. So I know that it is 54.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to do 55 just in case. And I'm just going to cut it like this. And we will see how it goes. I'm going to leave more information for you to see and decide on the sizes. And I use the same size chart for chain ring as well as for wire ring. One of the things, if your wire is all wonky, by the way, one of the things that you can do is to tap while you're rolling it. Watch. See, this is all crooked. Now it's straight. So anyway, that's a hack. What I want to do is I want it right in the middle. I'm going to eyeball it. I want this middle part to be flattened so that I can stamp my initial on it. And if you want it completely flattened, and you can turn it the other way, but if you flatten just on one side like this, it will curve out this way. See, it's starting to curve out. Okay, I think that's good. And if I'm not liking the shape and I want it flattened, I like the V shape, but if I don't like it, I can flatten out this way. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what to do next so that it's even and I want it stamped. I've been hammering it like this, and it's nice, but you see it's curved this way. I want the stamping to be on this side, my letter, so that I can curve it over like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape it down. It doesn't roll. And I'm going to measure to be more precise. And oh, by the way, now you see, because I flattened this out, it is now longer. So just remember that this will happen. And I'm going to mark it here as the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to use my letter stamp. This, and some of them have it so this always faces you, so you just make sure that your letter stamp is done properly. But the other thing is, it doesn't really matter because it's hand done, organic. It doesn't need to be perfect. Embrace natural beauty. I'm going to do that. Whoops. There's my letter D. Now I'm going to measure out and cut before wrapping around a ring sizer. So I want this to be in the middle, and I know for size 7 it is 54.4. but let's just do it for 55. So you're at 27.5. Then I need to cut this much and 50. The other thing is, now we want to cut this side flush. Get your flush cutters. As flush as possible so they're flat, to maximize the surface, because we're welding and not using solder, and either way we want a completely flat seam. Nail file, because you just want a flat surface. Here it's not a whole lot. Okay, there we go. It's size 7. Now, if you don't have a ring sizer, you could certainly use something that is the same size as your finger. Basically, you want these two sides to meet. Then you're going to use a pair of pliers to bend them so that they meet flush. So now you see, because this was thinned out, it was bent here, but it's not breaking. You don't want it too thin, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down and then slowly bend that like this. And then basically you just want this part like this. And you'll tap it on the ring sizer, holding on to this side like this. Basically, you want it to meet, and it's much better if you make it so that it overcompensates a little bit and then move it back in, because you want both sides touching. Smaller. You make it meet. You want this seam to be flush, and it isn't up top. So what we're going to do is try to, I think this part needs to be flattened a bit more. So just a little bit at a time until it is perfectly flush. So this, you might have to have a few goes of it. A metal file would take off a lot faster, but if you don't, anything that's heavy is fine. This meets now. I'm going to call it good enough, and we're going to weld. I am using 16 gauge 1.3 millimeter sterling silver wire, and my Orion Impulse 30 welder is set to 20 watts power. If you're going to use thinner gauge wire or a different kind of metal, you'll have to adjust your power setting. I'm going to link to a video that I filmed on optimal power setting for different metals, and I've created a chart that you can print out. You can go higher but not lower power, and this will ensure that your weld is strong. Okay, so it's welded this way, and then I'm going to go all the way around of what it looks like. So, oh, I forgot to turn on the argon gas. That's okay. You can do this without argon. It's just you're going to have to do a bit more cleaning up. Let's see. So I'm going to file this. Metal files are always better. If you're using very thick wire, you might not be able to weld very securely or nicely because you're not using solder. Also, if it is that thick, it might not be comfortable either. So keep that in mind. And on the inside, you can just use a smaller piece and just go like that. But I really like that. There we go. I think I might just brush the front too. I brushed the front as well. That has a nice satin finish. And this is the final ring. I hope you found that episode to be interesting. And if you did, please like and subscribe and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And actually, it helps the algorithm. I'm a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings, as well as micro welders. I'm going to leave a note below, a little bit more information about our company and what you've seen in this video.